Okay, today's lesson is going to be on how to rotate a shape around a center object. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take just a simple shape and we're going to rotate it around a center point. The first thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to have some point of reference. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and grab an ellipse, and I'm going to go ahead and draw an ellipse kind of in the middle of my screen here. I'm going to fill this with a couple of different, with a color that's easily identifiable, and I'm actually going to not have a stroke on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and view my rulers to help me put this right in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and do View, and I'm going to go ahead and go down to Rulers and click on Show Rulers. You guys will notice this is 11 inches across. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my cursor and put it inside of my ruler on the left-hand side, and half of 11 is 5.5, so I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm also going to do the same thing on the vertical end. This is 8.5, so that's going to be 4.25, and so I'm going to put something like that. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to align that center point right into the middle of this. I'm going to come back to this a little bit later, but I'm going to show you how I can rotate an object around this one. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab another shape, and I'm going to use that one to be the one that's going to go around the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my ellipse tool again. I'm going to go ahead and make a smaller ellipse. I'm going to hold down Shift to make sure it stays in proportion. And I'm going to make this one be a little different color so it's easily identifiably different. So we have something that looks like this. So now what I need to do is I need to take this ellipse and I'm going to put it on this vertical guide, and to make sure I've got it precisely put in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You guys will notice when I was zoomed out it looked like it was perfect, but now I can actually line it up just a little bit better if I'm zoomed in a little bit more. And the further you go in, the more precision you're going to have. So now to rotate this around this circle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my object here and the center point. I'm going to use two different things. I'm going to use the rotate tool on my toolbar, and I'm going to use the rotate command out of my object menu. The rotate tool on my toolbar is going to allow me to choose a custom center point. And so wherever I click this now, that's going to set that center point. By default, it's in the middle of my circle, and that's not really where I want it for this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down to where I've put these two guides. I'm going to hold down the Alt key or the Option key to make this so it's going to open up another menu when I click. So I'm holding down Alt and I'm going to click in the middle here. You guys will notice that's going to open up my rotate command, and what's going to give me the opportunity to do here is put these at a defined amount of degrees around this particular circle. In this case, I don't really know how many I want, so I'm going to have Illustrator do some of the figuring out for me. I'd like to have these evenly spaced, and I think that I'd like to have 16 of them, so I'm going to put in 360 for 360 degrees divided by 16. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the preview thing, and it's going to show me how much over that's going to move that. But instead of actually clicking on the OK button, this time I'm going to click on the copy button. What I'm going to get is something that looks like this. This is an important step because what I can do now is instead of following those steps several times again, I can easily just go to my object menu, go to Transform, and use the Transform again, or the Command D or Windows button and D command. So I'm going to go ahead and do that once, and you'll notice it'll move it over just a little bit more. And now I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut, Command D, and you'll notice as I move this around, I can easily make evenly spaced objects around another object using that center point.